Hey guys, this is Chris at CF Photography, and I've just started and I've just put live my new website. It's just on the blogspot. So the web address is cf-photographs.blogspot.com. I'm going to be putting up lots of my YouTube videos, and I'm going to work through, and hopefully it'll just keep a track of what I'm learning in photography. It's going to be a lot about all the cars that I enjoy working on, and obviously I'm very heavily into sports, being a tennis coach, so there's going to be lots of sports photography on here as well. So it's just gone live, and one of the pages which I'm going to add on in a couple of hours is going to be my Project 365. It's an idea that a few of my friends, some of them like, some of them don't like, but I started it last year, and then got slightly distracted by a lot of other things. But it's actually, I really enjoyed it in terms of you have to go out, you've got to find a photograph to take, and rather than just kind of, as you would sometimes, just picking up your camera and snapping a photo, there's a little bit of a thought process that goes into it, and you think, right, I want to capture this photo, what settings do I need, what aperture, what shutter speed, what ISO am I going to be using, what lens to some extent might I use to try and get this photo. So there's quite a lot of learning that goes on in there as well. So first day one, January the 1st, 2012, and being as it is my new idea, here is the photos which I've got hiccups. Quick cup of tea. A bit better. So the idea of me doing my new website, day one was going to do a light bulb. So this is a perfect example of having a thought and then playing with the settings, seeing if it was even possible. Which this was the first photo, and I was like, wow, okay then, cool, it is possible. This was shot at, if I just put the information up, which is Apple I. 1/4000th of a second. This is where I started myself off at. ISO 200, f6.3 gave me a little bit of room for manoeuvrability in terms of focus, the depth of focus, depth of field, and this was shot up with my 50mm 1.8. 4,000th of a second, thought it'd be quick enough just to try and limit all this light that was coming in, and then as we go through, you'll see some of the other ones. This is 200th of a second, but with an external flash to see if that would bring out some more details, but I don't particularly like those ones. But then as we start getting into them, you'll see that I'm starting to get an idea of which kind of photos work, which angles work more importantly, and the settings now start being a lot more consistent. You'll see I'm still 1/4000th of a second, gone down to f5, just to let a little bit more of this ambient light in around the outside. And then, I mean, that is fantastic. The atmosphere on that is fantastic. And as we get right down to the end, we've got one of our last photos down here to take quite a few. Scoot down, trying to play and keep this orb. I can actually show you the light. Here's the light. This is the light bulb that we used. It's also my fill light at the moment, but that's the bulb I used. So it's got that sphere in there, which is obviously creating that orb that you can see behind the bulb. I'll just pull that back on again. There we go. So if we scan through, we'll show you the ones that we've got at the end, and then the final one that I've chosen for day one. Some of these are absolutely quality. And if we have a look at one of these which has been developed, there we go. So if we could pop into the develop module, and you'll see this one actually pulled back on the exposure. Let's find one that's, I believe that one's two and a, oh no, it's 400th as well. But that was f3.5, this one. So I opened up the aperture on this one, and I had to pull back on the exposure. So if we just scan through these ones, go back to the ones where we've got, here we go, f9, f7.1. Right, now these are the ones. So this is the one here which I decided to use, or one of the ones I decided to use. There's two in there that I decided to use. So if we pop into the develop module and have a look at what we did, I actually pulled the white balance back to try and bring out some of the blue. I think the white balance was up around 2.7, which was up here. It looks a lot more natural, but I just really wanted to bring out that white balance. It's down at 2.2 or so. put that back up again. There we go. 229, that'll do. We left the exposure where it was. I pushed the recovery right up. You'll see that the recovery, if you zoom in on this, you push the recovery, it just tidies up all that in there, but there's not enough around the outside that loses detail. I mean, look at the detail in there as we're getting that 4,000th of a second. The fill light, didn't touch that, didn't need to bring any detail out on here. Blacks I moved up a couple, and then brightness didn't move it. Contrast we moved up to really bring out the blacks and the contrast between the two. Clarity, same again, just wanted a little bit of clarity between the edges. There's no clouds or anything around here, so push that up, and then the same with the vibrance as well to try and bring out this lovely blue colour that you get in the light. Strong contrast on the tone curve, nice and simple, didn't really need to mess about with anything on there. And then if we pop down to here, the luminance, just push the blue again just to try and bring out the colour. And then my regular sharpening, I've just clicked on the light bulb element, just at the bottom of the, just below the actual element on the glass, I don't know what they're called actually. Pumped up the sharpening was actually done, I actually pushed it quite a lot, but then masked off to make sure I was only sharpening the edge detail. And as I have been doing a lot recently, I've just put in the lens correction profile. And as I've said in previous videos, it does seem to do something, so I just clicked it on. And then what I did is I took this image into Photoshop for one very quick change. You'll see that I didn't quite capture this up at the top. That was because I wanted this as large as I could. So what we did, we went into Photoshop, I put duplicated the layer and set that second layer, the layer on top, as an overlay layer. Just in the layer options, layer properties, pulled the opacity back to about 56, and you'll see what it's done to that. So it's really pulled out the blue, it's really made all this pop down here, and then you'll see it's just burnt out everything up at the top here as well, so it's really fading out on that. And then the second photo, which I've put up on my website, but it won't be for the project, it's just a second photo which I really liked. That's that second one. Yeah, exactly the same. That's how it started. Popped it into Photoshop, put in that overlay layer, and there we go. Also just tilted it back because it was a little bit on the piss. And there we go. Cool. That is video 1, guys, for my project 365. I'll probably do one video a week for the project. Pick out my photo of the week, but I thought I'd do the first one and just show you how I developed that one. And that is project 365 for my new website, which is cf-photographs.blogspot.com. And I look forward to seeing you all on here. If you have any comments or questions, just pop them up on here and I'll do my best to answer them. And thank you very much. Take care and happy 2012. Have a good one. See you later.